Okay, some of the people in the meeting were involved right at the beginning of this. Uh, can you see my screen? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so back in 2021, when people were trying to figure out what information was needed for safety critical assets, we were asked to join the Golden Thread Initiative, which was informing the government on a whole range of different things that related to the golden thread. Um, and for example, MBS were running the design one, specification one rather, and various other people. We took over responsibility for asset and survey information, and we held um, lots of roundtable workshops, um, most of them on Teams, but we also had several in place. So we had manufacturers there all sitting around the table, some of them competitors, all working together. These are all designers. These here are all operations people. And what we were basically doing is asking them, what information do you need to make sure that the building is safe? And the way in which that was structured, the HSE was also part of the team. First of all, it was what risks does an individual asset type mitigate? What do people do to the asset to stop it from working? That was an interesting one that actually came out from the discussions that we're having. It wasn't one of our original questions, but that's been very useful. Then it dives into the information that's needed about an asset to ensure it performs as required. And that really got things going because invariably, if you ask an expert, the first question that they'll answer, or the first answer they'll give, is well, it depends. It depends on where it is, depends on what it's doing, and therefore it's nuanced. So we thought the best way of doing that was to run the workshops. Um, we also asked what basically procedures are needed to ensure it's been uh, actioned properly. What level of competency? That's becoming obviously far more transparent now or important over the last couple of months or couple of years. And also, how do you record changes? Now, the reason I'm saying this is that all of the asset types that we looked at, we asked these same questions. And in hindsight, that's a really good thing that we managed to do because we've got something that's consistent across all of them, which Richard is going to come on to a bit later. We did this for obviously for fire doors, penetration seals, and things like that, which we're covering today. But it's also been done for smoke ventilation, for alarm systems, detection systems, and other asset types as well, sprinklers and emergency lighting. In addition to that, we Alan Oliver, who's on the call at the moment, saw what we were doing, and he offered to contribute something as far as residential is concerned. So he'd already done it for with the health service. So we put together a team and we did this for fire doors and come up with a methodology with some instructions for that. So again, the authorship of this actually was with Golden Thread Fire Delay, but I think some of the content actually came from us, and certainly a lot of the reviews. We had 100 people working on this, and more recently, we've got another one for fire dampers, fire stopping, and cavity barriers. So I thought it was worth just mentioning that this is available to anybody that wants it. Um, so in terms of the information, I think what's important to recognize is that we don't want information simply on one asset type. We need it for the whole of all of the assets that go into the building and what systems they're being used on. So the way in which we're working this is to look at things from a point of view of what is that particular asset doing? What measure is it protecting against? And in this case, let's say it's smoke getting into that stairwell. So the purpose of that is to say, right, we want information, for example, about firewalls, fire doors, including closers and things like that. But we also need, importantly, information about penetration seals, because the fire door may be perfect, but if the penetration seals fail, then you may as well not have bothered. You'll still get smoke into the dangerous areas, and people could die. We also need to make sure that the other systems that are in place are all working in concert. So again, I'd like us to be thinking along these lines so that we can look at things in a more holistic way. And the other thing with that is that we need to recognize that there's going to be lots of different software applications that are used to audit this type of information. So, for example, it may be that we've got a BIM model which is connected back to product data, but what's it actually doing? What is that asset doing? What spaces is it protecting? And therefore, and also that unique asset, we want to be able to create it so that irrespective of what software application may be used to do inspections, it's all referencing back to that same asset. And over this last couple of years, I've sort of focused on the fire safety side of things, not because that is exactly that's more important than the others, but it's because it's probably the most simple one to actually say that we can join up the golden thread. So we need to provide something that's then auditable. And also, there's regulations now in place where basically both the client and the contractor that's delivering the information needs to be able to formally confirm that they've provided it all. And in my experience, I don't think that's being done. The people are signing them off, but I can't see that they actually have got all that information together. So, what we're looking at is the subset of information that's needed for Regulation 38. And these are the things that are mentioned in the regs. And finally, what we're looking at as far as the Golden Thread Task Force is concerned, which is part of BIM in asset management, is to basically have a simple checklist to see whether we've got the right information. So what I wanted to do, that really is closing things off now. What I wanted to do was look at things. We've had the guidance in place now for, well, certainly 4 years, and we reviewed it 2 years ago. Notting Hill was telling me yesterday, Notting Hill Genesis were telling me yesterday that they used it very recently just to do something on cavity barriers. So a lot of people have seen the guidance, and that guidance was there with experts saying this is the information that we need. Yeah. Now, what I would now like to do is just get a straw poll or a poll of whether people are actually getting the information that was considered to be essential. So, Jess, could you put up the poll, please?
Right, just as put the link to the poll in the chat. So if you'd all go on to that, you can actually answer the questions as we go along. So if you all log in, if you all found the link.
If anybody hasn't found it, I'd like, if possible, everybody to do this. So if you've not got it, please let us know. Okay.
Okay.
So all of these relate to the asset information for a particular asset type. So in this group, we've got 4 asset types, which I'd like your feel on all four asset types just as one answer. I don't know if that's unreasonable, but let's go through it anyway.
Yeah,
First,
most of the questions actually apply to all, don't they, George, actually?
they do, absolutely, they do.
Okay,
Yes.
so does the asset information you create, receive, retain for this asset type include type reference, classification, and unique ID or reference? A type reference, a classification, and unique ID or reference.
So in
And
other
is that,
words, to be able to identify that as an individual asset. So do you get that information?
and you get that 100% of the time, 75, 50, 20, or less? Type reference, classification, and unique ID reference. How often do you get that? And the second question is, do you get precise location data, XY coordinates? Do you get that? And if so, how often? So that's, do you get XY coordinates, precise location data, and how
Richard, can I
often?
ask a quick question just on
Absolutely.
number one? Is classification relating to, say, performance criteria? So we're talking about sort of fire performance, acoustic performance,
No, this
etc.
is about identification, purely
It's
Right, okay.
identification.
it's sorry, it's more like Uniclass or NRM.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, question three. Are you getting information on the assets relation to the fire strategy? And how often?
There could be another question there saying, do you get a fire strategy?
Yeah, but there isn't.
But we're assuming you get a fire strategy.
Okay, so do you get information in relation to the fire strategy in relation to asset types? And how often?
Just as a sense check on this, what we're really trying to do is understand how much of the guidance that we've given is actually influencing people. And also it's giving a sense check on the quality of information that we're actually getting on projects, which I have to say, I don't think it's very good. But I'm skewing it there.
Okay, question four. Do you get manufacturer and model certification and test data? And how often? Manufacturer and model certification and test data. Okay, question five. Do you get information for an asset type on design, installation, and commissioning records? Do you get design, installation, and commissioning records? How often? How much of the time do you get that? Okay, number six. Are you getting maintenance and inspection logs, dates, methods, results? So inspection logs with dates, methods, and results. Are you getting those regarding the maintenance of your asset types? And again, how often are you getting that? Matt?
Sorry, Richard, to interrupt again. We're not going to get all of this information at the stage that we're involved at. I don't want to corrupt the data here, but some of these,
that's fine.
So do you want me to be answering zero, or?
No, I think just leave it.
Yeah, leave it. Yeah, because if you answer zero, it will screw it.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, question seven. All right. Are you getting a cause and effect matrix or system integration data for active systems?
Given this as a passive system one, possibly, we're not. I don't know, Mo, would you say you would have cause and effect matrix on passive things?
No, it's not part of passive. I mean, even when we work with fire dampers, which when they're with fire dampers with smoke control, they would need a cause and effect. But our portion of the work is purely the fire stopping around the damper, so it's not really relevant to.
So should we leave that question? Don't answer it.
Yeah.
Okay, don't answer question 7, please. Okay, straight on to question 8. Are you getting change history and traceability? Product swaps, upgrades, replacements. Change history and traceability. So product swaps, upgrades, and replacements. And how often are you getting it? Okay, question 9. Are you getting evidence of the competency of the individuals undertaking the works? Are you getting any evidence of the competency of the individuals who are undertaking the works? And
sorry, just quickly, the way I'm answering this question is based on what we submit rather than what we receive, because we're carrying out the works. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, question 10. Are you getting records of works resulting from tasks identified in
Fire risk assessments?
Sorry, I can't read it, it's so small. Can you read that?
Shall I just explain that? Yeah, so
please.
If people have had fire risk assessments done, one of the things that we're finding is that the works haven't been completed. So even though they've had a fire risk assessment done, that's ticking the box that they've got a fire risk assessment done. But the actions that come from that, have they been completed? So what we're trying to do is just get a feel to see whether, in your experience, people are actually getting records of the completion, the work being completed. That was it, really.
Yeah. Okay, and how often?
And when you see what Richard's going to come on to in terms of normalizing things across the different asset types, you'll understand why we're asking these questions, I think.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Right, we've, as George said, we went through 12, 13 asset types, 5 critical asset types. We've got four pieces of guidance that we're going to whiz through now. Many of the answers to the questions that we posed were almost identical across all asset types, which I think is represented in the poll we've just done. The questions are largely relevant right across. So what we're going to do now, we're going to scroll through the document. Just, do you want to put the first one up? Yeah, we're not looking to reinvent the wheel here. These documents have been through literally hundreds of people and experts and fine-tuned and finessed, and they've been on the website for literally 3 or 4 years with people putting comments on and changes. So we're not looking for the base level information to be re-examined during this meeting. We're looking more for situations where something's changed. Maybe there's a new piece of legislation or new guidance come out from government or trade body or something. That's kind of what we're looking for more than anything else, rather than to like dig and delve and rewrite the whole thing, if that makes sense.
But if you do see something that you want to comment on, you can still do that, but not in the meeting. Otherwise, we're going to get to,
we won't go through. So, oh yes, absolutely. Always comment on everything. These documents are all dynamic. They're never ever finished. So we're always happy to have any comments whatsoever. If you see something, put it in the chat. You probably know all our meetings are recorded. You will get recording of it and the hyperlink notes of it, which include the chat. So we don't lose anything, believe me. Okay, just scroll down to the first question. The first body of the text is about our methodology and what is a fire door. I don't really want to get into that right now, at this level. I think primarily we're going to be looking at information. Okay, so just can you make that writing any bigger? Yeah, that's great, mate. Thank you. Okay, so what risk does a fire door mitigate? If you want to have a look through that, risk of heat buildup, the risk of spread of fire and products of fire, risk of speed of fire and smoke spread, risk of number of uncontained areas, risk to firefighters access, risk of inhibiting. Actually, you can probably read it better if I'm not talking, can't you? Just flick through that and see if there's anything that stands out. I think there shouldn't be, but
can I just say the bit that what we've concentrated on it of what is its operational use. There's also a risk of it trapping people in the building if not maintained correctly, or opening in accordance to the requirements of 8300. So that's also relevant on there, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Would you put that in the chat for me?
Yeah, of course I will.
If you could put it in the chat for me, that'd be really helpful. Okay, 1B. Right, to what risk is a fire door set itself susceptible? Have a look through that. Again, this is not something likely to have changed, so there shouldn't really be any issues on it. Okay, let's move down just to the materials. We're still on risks to the fire door itself, and this is around materials, building movement and shrinkage, water damage, laboratory testing not having been adequate, being blocked, propped open. Again, I'm not thinking there should be anything there that would have changed. If you can think of something that should be added on there or something, please, yeah, just put it in the chat for me, please.
Yeah, I've got something else.
Yeah, put it in the chat if you would. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to installation. In terms of risk to the fire door, refurbishments and upgrades, components missing. If you've got anything else that you think should be in, has anybody got anything else they think should be in installation? Okay, well, if you think of something afterwards, just as I say, please put it in the chat. Right, let's move down to question 2. Oh yeah, good, Jess. Okay, what information is needed about a fire door to ensure it performs as required? So we've got layman level information for residential users, information for all stakeholders regarding a fire door's access control, what's permitted, what's not permitted, and primary test evidence, which is often used as an alternative to global assessments, although primary test evidence on its own is very limited. Okay, in terms of requirements, what information do we need? We need the type of the door, the age, frequency of use, location, obviously, relation to spaces. I don't think any of that will be different now than it was 2 years ago or 4 years ago. But again, if you think there's something that we've missed out, please put it in the chat. Okay, specification. Scroll down, Jess. Okay, so have a look through that. Certification of manufacturing, global assessment by UCAS accredited body. Again, though, that's not that and the test report are not mutually exclusive. I think, again, this is not something that's likely to have changed. The only thing would be on there, wouldn't it be, are the test reports confirm control of the passive coal smoke to those British standards. If anybody is aware of any change in that or any updating on those British standards, then now's the time to speak.
Well, the only update is BS476 is on its way out from ADB. So.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, all testing will have to be carried out to the unified standard eventually.
To what standard? To the
BSCN 1634.
Right, so the 1634 is more stringent.
Well, yeah, it is definitely, all the European standards in general for testing are harder to achieve and harder to achieve the fire resistance periods. So and it's more specific to or more tailored for what you're testing to. So 1634 part 1 is specific to fire doors or timber fire doors.
Can I just cut across? I wouldn't, don't move something out. What is, because so 2029 is the date, but if we can, the harmonization, what was going to be going through hardware. So let's not, it's in now, and I
it's
think
still going to be.
It's still going to be.
It's still there for the next 4 years.
I wasn't suggesting removing it completely. What I was saying is just a note to make people aware that it is on its way out.
Just go back and reinstate that, please.
He has done.
Oh, you have done. Sorry, missed it.
I think also, so just to touch on this, to be very clear about this, that when we're looking at BIM for the management around something, we've got to stick. So a lot of people do that, don't they, with fire? I hear it all the time. The new regs, everything. When we're talking about resistance to fire, we're still BS47622. 1987, we could do part 8. 1971, smoke is 83 with 31.1. We have to state, because that's offering more confusion, isn't it? So keep everything until it's there.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
And also, we're in this, I'm just looking at this, and the biggest issue that so when we talk about, you mentioned it, Reg 38, and all of this information that we've got, there's 3 to 5 million of new doors what are going in a year. So we can look at the cradle to grave. But the biggest problem within the industry is the grave back to cradle, where you go in existing buildings and there is nothing there. And we have to, within this BIM system, we also have to be capturing that way back, don't we? We have to be looking at
the historic information, definitely.
The historic information, because whether we agree with it or don't agree with it, this where there is not a retrospective. So I have this thrown to me all the time. There's not a retrospective requirement. Yeah, but there is a requirement to have a suitable and sufficient risk assessment in place to maintain your buildings, to adapt Article 10, Principles of Prevention, Section 1D, adapt to new technologies. And I think this is so, if we were talking about how we get and it's still not being done, but if how we look at getting this information and getting the Reg 38 so it actually contains the relevant information, what is required, that's easier than when we're working grave back to cradle, but we still need to do it to evidence the buildings are compliant. Because if I give you these stats on doors, 10 million of doors are estimated are installed in accordance to current regs with fire safety information, whether it be completed or not. But there's probably 50 million what would fit that, what we would describe as nominal or notional doors might still be suitable if evidence to a suitable system of maintenance. So we've got some of the older hospitals and places like that with them in. And I think it's so important. So he was absolutely right. There is new testing, but let's talk about where we are. And then when we get there, and because it won't be a retrospective requirement to then change everything, it will be in the new making from the date where it's actually becomes a legal requirement.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think we're all in agreement with that. Paul.
Yes, thank you. This was regards item I, and I see that H has been installed and put in. So is it under J? Can we go down a bit to what could be J now?
In specification?
Yes, please.
Okay, scroll down just. Yes, compatibility.
This isn't for me. I don't know. Can fire engineers state what can be added to fire doors, or is it just solely the manufacturer?
No idea. Anybody know the answer to that?
So just ask that question. Can a fire engineer, as an existing door, are you talking about a door without the fire safety information in place?
To J, so if compatibility confirmation of a fire door ironmongery, can a fire engineer state what can be added?
No, because a fire engineer wouldn't be the person who is best. So when we talk about SCEB, that wouldn't be a fire engineer. So when
do we need to remove? Sorry, do we need to remove fire engineer from J then?
Compatibility confirmation fire door.
Yeah.
And
right.
I would say
put the person with the it would be the person with the relevant SCEB.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would reference it to the correct document rather than the person.
Well, the correct
Lee, could you put that
to the correct documentation?
Lee, could you put that in the chat for me?
Yeah.
And then just can pick that up and make that change and add that in. So you're gonna Mo's putting something. Lee's putting something in the chat now, Jess, that will tell you what you replaced the fire engineer with.
And who was the other person that spoke? I apologise.
There was somebody else whose hand was up.
No, I was just quickly saying it's.
I had my hand up briefly. It was really following on from Lee's sort of comment, which was quite right. You know, majority of everything, it's not just in our buildings, is old legacy, and we need to make sure that we're capturing that. And we're spending, in terms of doing building safety cases, an awful lot of our work is actually looking at, did this even comply with the standards at the time of build?
Yeah.
And then form our part of our gap analysis to what does that mean in comparison to the standards we have now? Do we need to do anything? Yes or no? But we shouldn't be throwing out old standards just because they're old. We need to acknowledge them and then understand how they differ from the current standards and what implications that have. So whether that fits into this or not, I can't quite say.
Yeah, I think I think we fitted it in, haven't we? But when we put that one back that we'd taken out. Paul, your hand's still up. Are you?
Different one. K.
Different. Go on.
Glazing. Does the glazing have to be CE marked? Because as a rule of thumb, a sheet of glass turns up with a seal on it, and then it's cut into lots of different PECs to put into doors. So would it realistically have a CE marking on each piece of glass within the fire door?
Right, yeah, because this says within each set, doesn't it? Does it need to be on each set? Who's got a view on that? Lee?
So it goes back to what you're putting in, doesn't it? That you, when we repairs, so if you're repairing or changing, I'm presuming, because if a fire door comes as a set under the criteria BSEN 12519, it will be a set, everything will be in. If you're changing glass or any repair, it needs to be evidenced, doesn't it? So it would be evidenced, but it wouldn't just be the glass, it would be the glazing system. So the answer is, it needs anything what you do to a door, you need to be able to evidence, because anything that changes or updates the fire safety information is notifiable, isn't it? So if it's notifiable, it needs to have the competent person under Section 11F of building regs doing it, and it needs to be evidence that it works. Now, all fire door repairs are best endeavours. They're not certified unless you're returning it back to its tested detail. You don't certify a repair of a door because it's it's just a made up. So the likes of the traders who put these ARTs out, they're not certified repairs. It says in there, it's a general rule of thumb. So in essence, in answer to glass is, you have to evidence the glass that you're putting in works. If it's glass that's in there that you cannot evidence that it's been replaced, you can't just say it hasn't got a label on. It needs to go for, it's reported as there is insufficient evidence, and it would be the risk assessor what made a judgment on that.
Right, back to the question. Should it be CE marked? Yes or no?
Well, there isn't.
I think the answer is no, Richard.
No, right, so internal door sets are not required to be CE marked, are they? Internal fire door sets.
Right. Okay. So we're right. So we're losing this one then. Yes, George.
Yes.
I think the question should be, glazing within the door leaf or door set needs to be evidenced.
Yes.
That's good.
Right. Good one. Well done. So change CE marked, Chris, to evidenced.
Yeah.
Evidenced.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So anything else on that on that section? Or can we move on?
I think we have to, because we've got.
Yeah, we're going to have to move on. Move down to materials, Jess. Okay. So what material? The information on materials used and a fire door.
I think let's move through this a bit quicker, Richard.
Yeah. Let's go through now, Jess.
If anybody's got any comments at all, just please either put them in the chat, or you can have a Word version of this that you can mark up.
I'll keep going. Installation. Again, that's not something that should have changed over the last few years. Scroll down, Jess. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, let's shut. Right. What tasks or procedures are required to ensure a fire door is installed, commissioned, inspected, and maintained properly? Right. So in terms of specification, let's have a look at that quickly. Yeah, scroll down, Jess. Right. So I think the only thing here would be C, which is about the different standards. Is there anything there that's likely to have changed or needs amending or adding to? Just quickly.
Testing regime to fall in line with the Fire Safety England regs.
Just why have you gone up? Right, scroll down just, will you? Right, testing's here, look. Just inspection, that's the testing and anything, and it should be in there. I don't know who it was who just spoke. Could you put that in the chat?
Yeah, sorry, that was me. I'll do that, Richard.
No, don't apologise. We want it, but if you could put it in the chat, it would be helpful. Right, scroll through that, and that's SFG20. Right, competency and training. Has there been anything out on fire doors in terms of changes over the last couple of years? Okay, keep going, Jess.
Can I just say,
Yeah,
that's the point. The conversations that I keep hearing is whether having BM4Housing accreditation is adequate to prevent the need to notify the regulator of changes. My understanding is that isn't the case. So rather than open up that debate, should we perhaps write something in here? I don't know, Lee, if that's something you could write in, just to say how you qualify that, because presumably it's a good thing if people have got third-party accreditation, but there's a limit to what it can be relied upon to do. Is that valid to the team? What do you think, Mo?
Sorry, look for the mute button. Well, it's been time and time again proven that having the third-party accreditation on its own is never enough to prove people's competency and prove that they will make the right decisions and select the correct specification and install things according to how the manufacturers have tested them, how they've been assessed, and how they've been specified, and how they should be installed. So I wouldn't say that in any way having accreditation on its own would be sufficient in lieu of informing the regulator.
But should we leave that in? Should we leave the
which point? Sorry.
B. Should we leave in there that we need to? It would be good to obviously have the third-party accreditation.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
nothing wrong with it.
It is no, definitely not. I mean, I would never say that we should take out anything that relates to third-party accreditation. Actually, it's the bare minimum of proving a part of competency. It's not everything, but it's a bare minimum for proving competency. But I wouldn't take it out completely.
Unfortunately, Mo, I don't think it is. I think it creates a process to show that there's an auditable process within a company every 6 months. But we have to stick when we're doing so having BM4Housing, which is and showing things like that in this, I think is misleading, because I think it's got on so many procurement lists wrongly under the belief that it's a form of competence. And we have to stick to what's in the amendment of the Building Safety Act 22, what's in Section 11F of Building Regulations, because it's legally required to evidence it, in Article 18, Safety and Assistance. It evidences individuals. You cannot.
Sorry, Lee. What I think we're saying is that we should leave it in, but we should qualify it heavily to ensure that it's not being used that way.
But I don't think a document like this should have any. It shouldn't be named as BM4Housing is one of the big. As an expert witness, it's become the biggest problem I'm dealing with. Under the belief of it, we could have that just saying third-party accreditation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
basically,
it does say EG there. It's given an example.
Let's take out
it's not saying specific one, but yeah.
Just take out that bracket. Everything in those brackets.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that solves that, doesn't it?
I'm sorry to everybody that we're trying to drive this on, but I think this is fantastic that we're doing, by the way, but it's just we have to.
Right, scroll down, Jess. Maintenance. Keep going.
I don't think the last set two should
Yeah,
be
no.
that.
Right, let's move on to the next guidance, Jess. Quite exhausting, isn't it? Right, scroll down to the first one. Okay, so we're talking about risks to dry lining and firewalls mitigate. Again, there shouldn't really be any changes in there, should there?
I don't think so, Richard.
No, all 1B. So keep going, Jess.
Sorry, apologies. Can you just increase the font size, please?
Yeah, just make it bigger. Mind you, it might be quicker if we kept it small. Not that I'd ever do anything like that, of course. Okay, right, scroll down, Jess. Let's look at what we got for number 2.
Again, if you've any other examples of where firewalls are compromised, and I'm sure Matt's got some actually. If you could, if you could provide those afterwards, I think that would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, just scroll down, please, to number 2. There we go. What information is needed?
Sorry, could you go back up again, Richard? So just slightly. Yeah. So if the experts could look at those and just say whether there's something in there that shouldn't be in there. I don't think so. That because this was largely done, I think, by the fire by the Finishers and Interiors Association. Okay.
Okay, go but down to number 2, Jess. Right, what information about dry lining and firewalls do we need to ensure they perform as required? Right, and we've got a headline: the designer should ensure that the firewalls use dry lining, have up-to-date and relevant test evidence or third-party certification, and detailed installation details relevant to that unique installation.
Sorry,
Matt,
is there
just to give
anything
you some
under I? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Is there anything
Scroll
under
down.
I, Richard, or is that the end? Okay.
What about correct fixings? Use of correct fixings.
That's probably in
Yeah.
construction.
There's probably, yeah, it's probably it's probably further down. Let's go down, Jess. Materials, construction, installation. Look under installation.
Does that cover it?
Just looking.
Well, manufacturer's details should cover what type of fixings there are anyway, and it says manufacturer's details at the top.
Okay.
Maybe add fixings to that.
Okay.
Right, where, George?
I think
Just go up a little bit.
It's going to be components, isn't it?
Right, wait there.
Point.
Where do you want to add fixings?
which part was you referring to? Was it Mo? Was it you that said it earlier about manufacturers?
Yeah, that's in at the very top.
Right, go up, Jess.
Where it says manufacturer's details. Yeah, at requirements, it says manufacturer's details. So they normally include what fixings to use.
Yeah, and
Well,
fixings.
Yeah.
You're not right, and fixing.
Yeah. Well, including fixings. Yeah, fixings. That's fine. Good.
Great, mate. Okay, take it down. Okay. Yeah, keep going into inspection.
But I just make an observation, Richard. If you just consider how much time it's taking us just to read through these, can you imagine how much work went in by the experts to actually create this in the first place? I don't think that there's another set of information like this that the industry's got. You know, that it's very detailed. I think you would agree. What we now want to do is then make this more consumable. So the next step after this exercise, once we've verified that we've got good base information, is start to use AI and large language models to turn that into something that's more consumable. But we'll come on to that later.
Okay, maintenance, anything in there? That's, I think, Paul.
Have you got anything, or do we need to put in there anything about the shelf life of the materials used? As in, some of the materials might have to be replaced if you've got fire stopping or battening, fire-rated battening used.
Right, I'll tell you what, Paul, will you put that in the chat? I'll tell you why, because I think there will be, but rather than us all everybody sitting waiting for me to find it, if you put in the chat, if it's not there, I can put it in afterwards. Is that okay?
I would also ask on that particular front, Matt, you're my expert on this sort of stuff. Is it the case that there is a life cycle for a firewall?
Depending on the components, George. I mean, for example, if it's firewall in an area which is considered to be under attack to a high chlorine environment, for example, or corrosion resistance, then there would be.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Scroll. Tasks are required to ensure they are installed, commissioned, inspected, maintained. Let's go down that. Yeah, scroll down, Jess. Yeah, we've got a reference there to the FIS. Keep going, Jess. Oh, look, product lifespan. Ascertain product lifespan within the specific system it is being used within, which I think covers both your points, doesn't it?
Yep.
All right, keep going, Jess. Then it's the competency thing primarily, isn't it? Okay, keep going, Jess. Right, this again, the competency, this is pretty standard through all of our documents, so I don't think we need to go through that. Unless anybody's got anything particular in new competency, either in standards or new training things that are training systems or bodies that have been approved. If you've got anything new on that, we'd love to have it. If you know something, anybody?
I'm sure Sharon's going to say what I'm going to say now, so I'll leave it to Sharon.
You go more. You go more.
No, you're the chair. Go for it. Of the ASAP chairperson.
It's called delegation. I'm proud of my team, Mo. You go.
Probably be worth pointing out the ASAP competency framework for passive fire protection. So it is in progress. The part that's completed now is fire stopping installation. So it talks about skills, knowledge, experience, and behavior of anyone carrying out fire stopping installation, what skills they need to have, what type of knowledge, how they can evidence it, improve it, etc., etc. So there is obviously the website for the competency framework from the ASFP. I think it would be a very good reference for that. And obviously,
Fantastic.
we're working through the other activities in passive fire, even including design and competency of designers. So yeah, definitely worth mentioning.
Brilliant. Could you put that in the chat for me?
Sure. I'll put the
website link if you've got it. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. Lee.
I'm just going to say hallelujah to that, Mo. That's absolutely fantastic. And George, can we do something more around that? Because it's what I continually whine about to you, that because there is no national occupational standard, what Mo's done is looked at what's in building regs, what's in the Building Safety Act, and then they're doing a framework based around it. So I'd love to investigate that more.
Of course, that's what this is all about. Just one point, Mo, this is about firewalls. So are firewalls part of your ASFP criteria?
So yes, it will eventually cover every part of pacifiers. Obviously, firewalls are definitely part of pacifier, and like I said, it's work in progress. There's working groups under every activity in pacifier currently.
Fantastic, thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so skip through that then, Jess. We'll add in. All right, how should changes be managed and recorded?
I think let's move on to the next one, Richard.
Yeah. Right, Jess. Next one, please.
Obviously, you've all got those, so if you want to look at them afterwards, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I meant to do a show of hands at the beginning as to who's actually been through these first before the meeting. I forgot. Right, scroll through. We're looking at fire penetration seals. Again, what risks do they mitigate? Have a quick flick through that and see if there's anything missing. Probably there shouldn't be, really. And scroll down a bit, Jess. Likewise, what compromises fire?
I think Sharon's got a load that she could probably add to that.
I've got books I can add to that.
Well, I called Sharon the other day, George, didn't I? But she skipped off for a coffee.
No. I'm trying. I've not been as good. I've been down in Coventry, but yes, Mo's my more than capable assistant in this department.
Okay, let's scroll down, Jess. Installation, again, pretty standard stuff, I think.
So because this is the first time I'm seeing this, I'll have to go through it in detail and might add a couple of things here and there.
Please do,
okay, George. Yeah.
Please do.
We'd welcome that.
Yeah, it's not possible to do it, obviously, to go into that kind of level of detail with what we're doing today. We're just trying to pick up the high points of things that stand out, that have been modernised or changed or improved upon, rather than the nitty-gritty of the document itself. Alan.
Yes, hello. Just a quickie, because I might have to go soon because there's a BT engineer on the way, unfortunately. Thanks for the opportunity to just say something for a minute. For those who were on time for the meeting, you may have heard that although I've retired at the age of 70, I am carrying on for a while as an active member of NARFO. And one of the things I plan to do under that sort of remit is to write a paper, or to invite people to help me write a paper on the reference documents which Richard and George outlined earlier on. And one of the things that we need to do is look at how, for example, we can bring the reference documents together with these BIM4Housing documents. For example, it doesn't mention anywhere that the reference documents recommend that people inspect fire doors or any other passive element in three different ways, for new build, for existing, and for ongoing PPM. And one of the things I want to do in writing the paper is look at how we can be more effective in actually getting people to read the reference documents, become aware of the reference documents, read the reference documents, understand its implications, and then apply. Because lots of people are saying that these reference documents are fantastic, and they're very rightly a legacy for people such as myself and George, Richard, and other people such as Sharon, who's on this, and Mo as well. And apologies for anyone on here that I've missed out. But they're not a true legacy if people still aren't applying the knowledge and understanding them. And what I want to do is focus on at the NHS through NARFO and say to people how many trusts are actually using 3 different types of inspections, and so on and so on. So what I want to do is say to people such as Lee, who I don't actually know, that I'd love people such as you, Lee, to get involved, because clearly, you know, when you say something like that BM Trada is the biggest problem I'm dealing with, that's obviously a massive issue that needs to be thrown back to people like the ASFP. And that's one of the things I will be looking to do.
What I suggest we do, if anybody's interested in getting involved with Alan on that paper, on that seems very valuable work, put in the chat Alan's paper. And if you put in the chat Alan's paper, then we will be in touch with you very shortly and probably arrange a meeting. Alan will arrange a meeting with you all to get together to discuss that. I think that's the most effective way of doing that.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Richard. And as you know, I'm just about to go on a holiday for a month, but I will be at London Build and I will be up and running on this in November, and I will be looking to engage with people then. So thank you very much.
That's fantastic, mate. No, so anybody just put Alan's paper in the chat, and we'll push that out as well, Alan, as we go through.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, just keep scrolling. Information. What information is required? Right, what have we got here? Compliance, resistance, location, the usual that we've seen already many times today. Scroll down, just.
Sorry, point B straight away jumps at me. Type fire, fire only, fire smoke, smoke only. I mean, the testing itself, 1366 part 3, does not account for smoke. That's a given. But the building, the requirements for the building regulation is fire and smoke for compartmentation. So I would, in my opinion, that bracket needs to come out, because it's always going to be fire and smoke. We always allow fire and smoke resistance and fire stopping or penetration seals. Don't know if everyone agrees on that or not.
Right, sorry, what you mean? Take all of everything in it out?
No. So it wouldn't be fire only, fire and smoke, or smoke only. Smoke only seal is not for compartmentation. Compartmentation or fire resistance will be fire and smoke, always.
So take smoke only out.
Yeah. So.
Right. Sorry, I got confused.
And fire only as well. So it'd be fire and smoke.
So it's fire and smoke. Got you. Yeah. Everybody agree with that? Anybody disagree with that? Okay, great. Thank you for that. Okay, scroll down on that one. Yeah. Right. What tasks are required to ensure penetration seals are installed, commissioned, inspected, and maintained properly? Okay, let's check and let's look and see if there's any legislation or standards that have been keep going, Jess.
Sorry, what about checking for the suitability of the compartmentation following a flood or even a fire, for that matter? So it has water and smoke and fire affected.
Right.
Would you mind dropping that into the chat, Paul? I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. Scroll down, Jess. Right, this is the competency one. We kind of know about this, don't we? Unless anybody's got anything. Obviously Mo has. We've got that now.
We take out the third-party accreditations. The EGs, just the EGs. That's it.
Oh right, those ones, yes. Yeah, if you happen to see those, just take them out. Right, what's this?
Sorry, does it say manufacturer's training? Yeah. Yes. Sorry, thanks.
Should offer installation training. Yeah. Right, this here says there's no statutory requirement for fire penetration steels installers to be qualified. Is that still true? Does anybody know? Is it true? Oh, it says under forthcoming guidance, some CPD qualification may be required. Oh, so does anybody know if that's forthcoming guidance is now actionable, or is it still kind of coming?
I don't think there's any qualification.
So it's still not, that's still the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, it's still quite vague. People just need to prove competence, and they say prove SCEP, but it doesn't state how.
Okay, cool.
Sorry,
cool.
Richard, sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, scroll back to where it was. Right. There is no statutory requirement for fire penetration seals installers to be qualified. And it talks about forthcoming guidance. It may be required, but I was just asking, is it required yet, or is it still forthcoming?
In the Scottish regs, there's a recommendation for competence, but I think the guidelines are being tightened, and that's why the ASFP are producing this pathway, because if there is an incident, and the responsibilities on the client to prove that they selected a competent operative, or a competent contractor. So there's no statutory, it's not a regulated trade, but there is a tightening. But again, as Mo says, there'll probably be a lot more information coming out, particularly from the SFP in the coming months. So it's just a work in progress.
It's a watching brief then at the moment.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think going with Mo as well, there is never ever going to be national occupational standards, because you would have to define what the actual role or the building was that you were going into. So competence, as Mo said, and what the ASFP are doing, is always going to be done as SCEP. There will be very good courses and all of that, but it's always going to be the individual, where they're going, have they got their SCEP to do that work at that building? It's always going to be that. So I think that's the key, that we always refer to what's in law. It's always going to be SCEP, because it's not linear, is it? It's so varied what buildings you're going into.
Yeah. Paul, you had your hand up.
No, I think Lee's answered the question.
Paul, that's fine. Right, just scroll down. Okay, this is the change one. We're going to leave that. So let's go right on to the last one. Okay, scroll down to the beginning. Cavity barriers, what risks they mitigate? Again, I don't think there's likely to be anything contentious there. Scroll down, that's it, scroll down a bit, Jess.
So do you mind scrolling back up to the risk to mitigate?
Yeah.
Is it worth mentioning risk of spread? Okay, by cavities, internal cell cavities. Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. It's there.
All right, scroll down
Thank you.
just. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Okay, what do we need to know? All right, the early stuff is basic. Keep going, Jess.
I think we've missed locations. Have we? I think the XY coordinates are very important as far as
Are they not on there?
cavity barriers are concerned. Yeah, they're
Right,
not.
go up, Jess. Stay on this question, this number 2, but go up to.
Unless everybody, if anybody disagrees, then let me know. But I think the location, particularly of cavity barriers, because
Yeah,
they're often buried, aren't they?
just put F for requirements and put location
XY.
put in brackets XY.
Yeah.
That's it. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, really. I don't know how we missed that out, actually, George. Over all these years. That's extraordinary. It just goes to show. Okay, scroll down, mate.
So when you say location XY, that's on a floor plan. So does that mean we have identified already which floor, or do we need to mention Z as well?
The chart.
Or is it given that we know where the Z is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people say XYZ, some people just say XY.
Yeah, I think in the others we call it XYZ, so Mo's quite right on that.
Yeah, just change that one you just added to XYZ. That's it. Perfect. Oh, it says there specific location, but
yeah, that
leave it. We need both, can't we? I think.
Yeah, because the specific location may just be a room number.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
A room may have a dozen.
Sure.
Cavity barriers.
Okay, keep going, Jess. Okay, task method procedures. Okay, let's look down. Right, wait. At the top, we've got CFRAEW in accordance with PAS 9980 for existing buildings under scope of Fire Safety Act 2021. Presumably that's still enacted, so that won't require any amendment. Right, scroll down, Jess. Let's.
Is PFPF guidance still relevant, Mo?
Right, wait.
I mean, yes, for now, but it is on its way to becoming a British standard, I'm told. So for now, that's the only thing that's available.
For now, yeah, we can only talk currently, can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave, as Lee was saying earlier on, we don't want to take, and someone else actually as well, we don't want to take something out that is still current.
Yeah,
but what about these?
I mean, eventually, in the long term, we would definitely want to reference the BS rather than PFPF guide, because PFPF is not a legal entity at all. It's a group of people.
Absolutely.
So when it happens, we would definitely need to update it once the BS standard is out.
Absolutely. Well, perhaps you could let us know when that happens and we'll update it. Okay. Yeah, scroll down, just. Competency piece, anything there? No, that's all standard, is it? All right, get rid of that. Yeah, just make sure we could take that out of everything, all of them, before We got the other meetings as well. Get it out of everything that we're going to use. Okay, scroll down. BSI Flex focus on contract inspection. Right, BSI Flex 888670.
Is that still relevant?
Anybody? Is that still relevant?
Lee, do you know what?
Yes,
BSI?
it is still relevant. Yes.
Great,
Okay,
good.
thank
Okay.
you. Right, scroll down. Okay, this is the one we're leaving. Okay, so well done. We've got through that. If there's anything, again, if there's anything you want to add to that or subtract, put it into the chat and we will update accordingly. If you want to look through this afterwards at some point, just bug us an email or something and we'll make changes where relevant. We've had quite a lot of input actually by email from people who couldn't come along. Very good input. Okay, so poll results, George?
Yes, please.
Jess, can you put the poll results up? This is so exciting. Okay, so do you get information on the type reference, classification, and unique ID or reference for an asset? And 40% are 50% and 50% and below on that, which is quite a lot. 2 saying yes, they're getting it all.
Which is great.
Yeah, George, any comment on that?
It may be that the 2 that are getting it all are the ones that are actually providing information.
Ah, right. Okay.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
That could be it.
Yeah.
Okay, scroll down. Right, are you getting precise location data? And it's roughly the same, isn't it? 50% are 50% and below. Scroll down, Jess. Its relationship to the asset's relationship to the fire strategy. That's marginally better. Manufacturer and model certification and test data. Who's getting that? Ah, that's not good. That's marginally worse than the others. Design, installation and commissioning records. Yeah, these are all pretty consistent, aren't they? That again is a bit worse. Mo.
So if we could just comment quickly on test data, again, just the differentiation between test data or certification and a test report needs to be taken into consideration, because if people are expecting a test report, a single moment in time to be provided for them for every installation they get, they'll be waiting a really, really long time and it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But the certification, manufacturer data, model, that should always be provided. Just thought I'd make that quick comment.
Yeah, no, that's relevant, isn't it? Matt.
Just in relation to Mo's comments, that's unfortunately not happening at the moment. We've got a situation currently with a fire damper going through a wall construction. It's been tested on a DIN standard wall, which is a German standard of construction. And we want to have a look at it because we want to make sure it's going to work with the British standard specified construction. We've been asking the fire damper manufacturer for it for about 4 or 5 weeks now. It's not provided on the basis that it's considered to be confidential information.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it should happen, Mo. I completely agree. Well, we need the information to view it to check it, but it doesn't.
It's difficult. They might get you to sign an NDA to provide you with the test data, but a lot of them won't even bother. They'll say no, you're not having it.
That's it. I mean,
we get
it's
that
a difficult
a lot.
situation. Yeah,
we get that a lot.
And we've signed them. NDAs before. I mean, for that is our purpose. That's not a problem. And we've had that typically with. I mean, this is a German company, so it's slightly more complicated. But we've had that with fire door manufacturers in the UK. They've been very helpful. We signed an NDA. They provided us the information. That's fine. But in some cases, it's still not happening, unfortunately.
Okay, right. Scroll down. Design, installation, and commissioning records. And again, it's about 50-50 between. Okay, scroll down again, Jess. Yeah, this is remarkably consistent. My guess, I bet that the people who are in the top half of the receiving end or the giving end are the same on all of these questions. Okay, 6, maintenance and inspection logs, dates, methods, time, results. Again, it's yeah, over half are not getting that. Cause and effect matrices or system integration for active systems. So, right, okay. So we've not even got 100% from people who are supplying that on the call. Okay, just last one, I think. Is it? No, there's two
We
more.
probably only have passive suppliers here, so they didn't answer the
Right,
question.
okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'll be it, won't it? Evidence of the competency of the individuals undertaking the works. Yeah, again. Records of work resulting from tasks identified in FRAs being completed. That's a bit better, isn't it? That's a bit better. Okay, excellent. So we have 5-6 minutes. George, do you want to look ahead? Paul Wormo, quickly before that.
Yeah, sorry, that was a great poll. And I know it's only 8 people responded. Is it worth doing this poll for future some of the roundtable meetings and for the working groups? And following on from the discussions and the poor results we're getting, is it worth reporting this as a group to crosssafety.org?
Right, what we do, George writes a report on the polls as we do them. What we'll do, normally we only do polls in the monthly forum, because there's a couple hundred people there and we get, the results are rather more meaningful. We just thought that might help kind of warm people up and get an idea of where we're coming from for this meeting. That was the purpose of it more than anything else, not in terms of something that we would use the results for anything. That said, yes, I totally agree with you, and we will certainly do this poll in our next forum in October. Because I think when you've got 200-300 people there, obviously you're getting 50-60% do it, 150-200 people from across the industry at all different levels. You've got quite a good cross section then, haven't you?
Okay. I mean, I must admit, I'm sort of, we are going to carry this out for the other groups.
Yeah, sorry, yes,
yeah. And I actually think Paul's suggestion's not a bad one. We could perhaps have a word with maybe the construction or the operations group, Richard. Because I think the point is it's having it targeted. But but as far as Cross is concerned, I've already passed. We're already talking with Cross. So we've already issued the ones that we've got from the BIM and asset management meetings, Paul. So you're quite right that that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I was just going to say a couple of things on where we go next. So what we're trying to do with this is to basically look at how we can make this all a lot more consumable and turn it into more structured information, which can then be machine readable. That's always been our intention, to make it machine readable. And that was before AI really started to get everybody's interest. So what we want to do is to take this base information for all the different asset types and then relate it to a series of other questions so that we can create prompts for that process. So my request or my question is there anybody here that wants to take it on to that next stage and start to apply AI principles, apply it to large language models, and also look at this from a point of view of preparing agents, so prompts and things like that, to be able to look at the information and interpret it in more meaningful ways. Our idea at the moment is to be able to set up some AI entities or people, roles, who can look at the information from a particular perspective, and then to be able to say, has the information, for example, that's been handed over, is it actually going to satisfy what we need? So if you're interested in that AI and data engineering piece, not to do the work, not to do the technical side, but really just to share your knowledge and experience, if you could put your name in the chat.
Put next stage in the chat.
Yes.
Put next stage in the chat, and we'll be in touch with you very, very shortly.
Sorry, Richard, you're quite right.
No. I was interrupting you.
No, but you were quite right to say, because I was saying put your name in the chat, which is stupid because we know who you are if you put anything in the chat.
Yeah, just put next stage and that'll do it.
So just give you an example of what we've done there is Jess has gone through and just used, I think probably ChatGPT, to look at across all of the asset types that we've done. We've done a dozen. And I think Rob's going to help us. That's the other thing. If you're interested in lifts and escalators, that's one of the ones that we've missed out, that we've not done. And Rob there from Blueprint, Rob Chambers, he's a lift engineer, and he's willing to coordinate a meeting on that. So if you are interested in lift engineering, put lifts into the chat, and we'll get in touch with you on that. But yeah, so the point about this is what this has done. It's gone across all of the guidance, and we've then got very similar things that have been coordinated. Now that's fantastic because we can then use that to start informing training and competence and the like. So that's just one simple example of what we're able to do once we've got really good knowledge and data that we can then apply. Okay, so if you're interested in participating in the next tranche, then as I say, put next steps. I think that's what you're saying.
Next stage.
Yeah. And if you want to talk to us about what we're looking at with that, because the intention is that we can then use that as part of the Golden Thread Task Force. So if you're interested in understanding how your services, for example, could fit around that type of platform, then again, let us know, because we're also tying together lots of different software companies like Rob's company, Blueprint, with that, so that we can then have more integration between different systems.
So if you
Sorry,
want
George, just to interject. So my company Blueprint handles Building Safety Act compliance. My other hat that I don is a technical lift consultant. So it's two different companies, but I can help you on either side. So yeah.
Okay, so if you're interested in getting involved in the lift working group, just put lift in the chat. If you're interested in helping with Alan's paper, put Alan's paper in the chat. If you're interested in getting into the next stage of what we're doing here today, put next stage in the chat. And if you're interested in the task force, put task force in the chat. what we'll probably do with anybody who does actually put that, we'll probably book in a quick 15-minute call with George or one of the other members of the steering committee, and for you to have a chat with them sort of one-to-one. But just put next stage or task force, which are actually there'll be some crossover on that. Put that in the chat and we'll be in touch with you very shortly on all of those. Okay, unless anybody else has got anything to say.
Have you found it useful, guys? Girls?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it'd be helpful to just go through some of the certainly the specific points again relevant to any trade packages we're involved in, George. So, for example, the firewall queries, we went through them all on the screen, but to just sort of go through the updated list once that's available, is that possible, Richard? Just in
no,
relation.
absolutely.
Once it's all updated, you'll all get a copy of the updated guidance for, actually, you'll probably get them all, or links actually to probably links to where they are. So Brilliant. Yeah, don't worry, you'll get all that when it's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, once we've got you on one of these things, we don't let you go. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it quits and say, because we've got another one of these in about an hour. My horse is going already. Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
see you
probably
very
see
much,
you
guys.
see
Cheers.
some of you in the next one. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks.